And the only way you're going to be able to go through those storms, you got to see or have a glimpse of what God is doing. The Bible declares that the reason why Jesus was able to bear the cross is because he saw the glory after his resurrection. What did he see? He saw all the people being saved. He saw him sitting at the right hand of the Father. He saw that every knee shall bow and every tongue shall confess at his name. That's what kept him on the cross. What he saw. Because if he looked at what he was going through, he would have came down. The only thing that keeps us from not throwing in the towel, not forgetting, not saying, I'm going to give up. You got to look beyond what you're going through and say, God, you got me in control. There's something beyond this. And you got to see the beyond even though you don't understand. The songwriter said, by and by, we'll understand it better by and by. And so when I was going through, I did not understand what God was doing. But now that I'm on the other side of the storm, I understand what the songwriter says now. My soul looks back and wonder how I made it over. I understand that song now because I look back and say, how did I make it through? Because God was preparing me for where I am now.
Yes.
And only the harshness of what I went through is able to make me what I am now. That if I didn't go through the harshness, I wouldn't be able to bear it. You see, the harshness that I went through prepared me for what the offense I should have had several weeks ago. But I had already been through worse than that, so when that came, well, I mean, hey, repeat. Deja vu. Ain't no need to get offended. I just seen worse than this. It prepares me. It gets me ready. And I got to know that in my spirit that where I am now. Oh yeah, thank you, Lord. Bishop Blake says it so bright. He says, I see you in the future. And what I see in the future looks so much better than what you are now. And you got to see what you're going through is only a stepping stone to get you to a destination that God has for you. And when you get to that destination, you realize I had to go through that in order to get me to the point I am now. Because I needed every trial, every tear, every hardship, every pain to make me who I am now. So I can do what God has called me to do. Because my training is not always easy.
Right.
Those who've been in the military know basic training ain't easy.
No, sir.
But basic training gets you for the other side. And the only thing that gets you through basic training is the drill. I said, you ain't gonna make it, you ain't gonna be no soldier, you ain't be this, but you look at him and say, okay, I just trying to be like you. I'm gonna make it through this training. So there are going to be some fathers in your life that let you down. There are going to be some that are just not going to be good leaders in your life. To mold you, to make you, to get you to the point where God makes you a good leader. How do you know how not to be until you've seen it?
That's good right there.
We always use the opposite of it. I don't know what to be if I don't see it. But you don't know what not to be if you don't see it. Many parents who go through abuse say they'll never be abusive parents, but they end up being abusive parents. Only one reason, because they have not let go of the offense. If you let go of the offense, you don't harbor anything, and because you're not harboring anything, nothing comes out of you the wrong way. And the only reason you're being abusive because you have not forgiven. And because you have not forgiven and you have not let go of the offense, that inside of you is now coming out of you. And you can't help but be abusive because you have not let go of what has happened to you. So you got to let go. What made David a good king is that he never got offended with everything he went through. With everything he went through, he stayed offense free, which allowed him to be promoted. Notice the demise of Saul. Pride and disobedience, because he was dethroned before David ever came around.
Yes, he was.
And since he was already dethroned before David ever came around, God said, I'm going to use Saul to build David. And so the first, if you look at it, the first half of it was the nice Saul that built the things into David. David knew how to sit at the table. David knew how to entertain. David knew how to act like a king, because he had seen Saul act like a king. But then David knew how to deal with harshness. What prepared David to deal with Absalom? What he had to deal with Saul. He'd been on the run before, so being on the run with Absalom wasn't nothing new. He ran when he was on the run with Saul. He just reverted back to what he already knew. For if he had never went through with Saul, could he have faced his own son betraying him? But since his own spiritual daddy did it, what more if his son did it? David had the right to avenge himself. Look what the word avenge means. To take satisfaction for an injury by punishing the injuring party. To vindicate by inflicting pain or evil on the wrongdoer. That's why God says vengeance is mine. Because you become, thank you, Holy Ghost, you become what you are trying to punish when you become the avenger.
Say it again.
I was just going to say that.
You become who you are trying to punish when you become your own avenger. Because you revert to what they did to you to punish them. And so you become what you have detest because you're trying to avenge yourself. That's why God said vengeance is mine. Because if you take vengeance yourself, you become what you have despised.
Wow.
Because you must revert down to their level in order to inflict pain. So those who have been betrayed in relationship and they're trying to hurt the one who betrayed them, get to acting just like them. Because you become what you're trying to hurt in order to hurt the one who's hurt you. And God gets no glory.
That's right.
And because he gets no glory, there's no elevation. There's no promotion.
Help us, Lord. Help us.
You must not lose confidence in God because you lost confidence in your pastor. I didn't write the book. I didn't write the book. I'm telling you, get the workbook. I didn't write the book.